We're
Oh,
almost
come
through the
on, Carlos.
first month. We're almost through. I was filling up with water. That's why I'm a little delayed. This takes me about a minute. This takes me about a minute 35 seconds to fill this puppy up. But we're almost through the first month of the second quarter of the year.
We are. It's
It sure
crazy.
will. 2022, baby. I'm pumped about 2022.
I
Sam,
know.
2022. Best year yet so far.
love
Crushing.
that. Couldn't love that
Crushing
more.
it. Listen, not only that, but we're also over our first month of doing episodes here.
I know.
And that
Episode
also
7.
means- Huh?
We're on episode 7. It's like a month and a half.
I love it. Which also means I'm about a month in. And I think I am really nailing down my mushroom, my attempt at nootropics and stacking for the perfect mind energy blend. It is something I've always it's been my Arthurian quest. You know, like King Arthur.
That's like the perfect stack. Your Excalibur of combinations.
But I've committed to this now in my replacement of my coffee. I
Yeah.
do really enjoy it. It doesn't have all of the mushrooms I was hoping for, but out of the other one, this has the most enjoyable flavor, taste, everything. It gives me what I need. So I've ordered a 90-day supply. I'm through with like my initial 30 days. So
Committed.
Wow.
Committed.
So a 1/4 supply. A quarter
So-
supply.
I did want to say, this. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I wanted to give an update to like nootropics, right? So I started taking the thesis, right? Take thesis. And in there, I told you guys how they give me one week's different, right? And I'm telling you, I'm down on week 3. And each week, and this just goes to anybody who's doing it, it goes to show that for every person, like something works or doesn't work. So you really do have to find your stack. So like when the first week I was getting migraines every day, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't getting work done. The second week energy, I was focused. I was crushing it. I got so much done last week and work and I was so focused on processes, able to get it done. I loved it. But then this week I took this creativity one. I haven't gotten shit done.
Huh.
I've been talking a lot. I've been hopping on phone calls. I'm like motivating the team. My trainings are going longer, but actual work production,
Interesting.
nil. Like I haven't sat down and produced any type of work that's on my ever growing list of things to do. So like I don't want to ever take that again. Like it'd be great for social situations.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, do they combine them all into like the perfect daily thing for you? Isn't that
I
the goal?
think so, because when you read the back of them, like the nutrition facts, every one of them has different things in it. The only two constants are L-theanine and caffeine.
Okay.
And then everything else is unique to what they're trying to do. And then I have my like little journal. I've been journaling every day, like writing down like
Love
it,
that.
don't, here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just going to tell them like this, whatever's in here, this is not what I'm looking for. For somebody else, it may be if I was like a speaker professionally or something, like if I was always a social person, but I'm an introvert, man. I just want to put my headphones on and create stuff. Like, so, next week is motivation. We will see how motivation works out.
Very fun. That'd be
Very
interesting.
I'm curious for the creativity one, and I have I guess it's like 70 things that I flip through right now in my, I call it my digital like prosperity and abundance box, which is more of like in traditional terms a vision board that I look at before I start working. So it's like quotes or pictures and stuff like those. One of them is Dan Martell. It's a picture of a chair, and he says he's like deep thinking chair where the real money is made. So I try to think about that, and from the book The Road Less Stupid, I believe it is, think about having more like deep think sessions where it's like literally in my room desk, blank wall, just writing out. I go in with a structured question, write down whatever comes in mind for 45 minutes, then 15 minutes you review. So it seems like the most high level people have some type of emphasis on deep structured thought, kind of what you're doing on a mini basis with the nootropics to see how they affect you. But I'm curious, and what I was thinking about when you're taking the creativity ones is maybe that's a time, man, where you just jam and write out some Elon Musk, SpaceX type thoughts for your life, your business, vision board, Montana Ranch, like anything that you have going on. And maybe you're being a lot more productive than you think.
I agree with you, because I think today as a problem in society, people don't really think. as much. We're so, we have all kinds of distractions. I think I love thinking. That's why I love doing like going on the road in my truck to go visit properties, a big thinking. But Carlos, for that, I don't know if I had the choice, if I would take that. I respect what you're saying, but I feel like something like that would be more of like a micro debt, like, because I'm big on the functional mushrooms and different types of mushrooms and stuff. Like I would say more of like a micro dose aspect would really help you focus and hone in on that creative thing. This one, like, I'm not going to say that I was really like big picture thinking. I just feel like I was social. Like I was more talkative than usual, not focused on anything. Like I was still ADD. I was like squirrel.
Have you tried any like microdosing yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I keep if anyone ever robs my office, they can steal all of my nootropics. Some of them are expired, so take it at your own risk. Do not throw anything out. I am a hoarder. So you rob my office, check the expiration.
You could start putting little microdoses in your direct mail pieces for the angry people. For the angry people that take the time to write you back, send them a little.
Take this before calling me.
Nice, yeah. Take this mushrooms.
I don't know if that ever helped any. Like, I don't know if those people can get help. Like the amount of anger that it takes to rewrite a letter.
Those are hilarious.
In an envelope, fold my postcard up, and then put a postage on it. Like, go to the mailbox and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get this guy. I'm gonna get him." Like, I don't know if that's gonna help. But they could use something. I'm sure.
Oh man.
But yeah, I get what you're saying though, Carlos. I think that Deep Think session, Dan Martell obviously is very successful at what he does. And that's where a lot of people are going to, people realize that I love hustle and grind as the next person, but hustle and grind doesn't always have to mean literally working yourself to the bone 80 hours a week, a lot of work, especially when you're at the higher up. Like it doesn't make sense for certain people though. You know what I'm saying? As you're higher up and you're the decision maker, the visionary, like EO status, if you're the visionary of your organization, then thinking is your job.
We were talking about this earlier. Like when you get to that like level, all of a sudden health becomes important.
No, that's not what I was talking about. But yeah, I was talking about
it's a thing though, right? Like I feel everybody that I know that is currently successful and has the time for deep thought and has the time for health has also put in the grind work where they weren't healthy and were doing the 80 hours a week. And I always have this like back and thought in my mind. I was like, I understand it's important. I understand that you're receiving benefits from it now, but like, do I have to wait till? Have we talked about this yet? I don't know.
No,
but, wait till you get to that point.
It's a crock of shit,
right? And because like Dan Martell, like he owned Clarity, and was in San Francisco in Silicon Valley, like working his ass off all the live long day, building an amazing network. I can't speak to did he have deep thinking time there. I know like health for him has become a huge thing in like the last 4 years, and the dude's phenomenal at it. Yeah. He's out in Utah training for an Ironman right now. But in order to do that, you got to have some time. And in order to have time, you got to have the wealth. So it's just like interesting. I don't know.
It is indeed. I think even if you're in the 80 hours a week, though, there's some level of reflection and thought of like, all right, what am I going to spend these 80 hours on? But maybe not like Bill Gates or somebody that you hear, or like, I forget, like the Bill Gates type, or what's his name? Investor dude, Warren Buffett. That they talk about, like, I think they like read like a minimum like 3 or 4 hours a day. It's like, all right, not everybody has that luxury to just read 4 hours a day. That'd be amazing.
Luxury.
That is that is a luxury.
I think it comes down to like perspective. So I want to start by saying I think it's all a crock of shit because I read it. I love money, so don't get me wrong. I am 100% capitalist, but I read something like that, and my immediate thought is, says the guy who's worth $10 million. Yeah, okay, dude. Because like you read the post, lifestyle not about work, got to spend time with your family, friends, build relationships, and it's like, says the guy who's worth like 50 mil. Thanks for the advice, bro. For the rest of us, we still got to grind. But I do think that luxury comes from perspective that not having, everyone's going to have worries no matter what, I think. I don't think no one has a perfect life. But once you get to a certain status of money, because that's what we're talking about here,
Yeah.
I think you get a perspective. The only other way to get that perspective is to be void of any need for material things. And that's okay too. And they also get that perspective where money doesn't matter because I don't need to chase it. So it's the chase that creates that need for that unhealthiness, that grind 80 hours, forget my family, forget my relationships, only focus on this because we're chasing. But when they achieve what they want, or at least they get to that comfort, and not comfort is in stop working, but comfort is in perspective ability. They sit back and they reflect and they say, wow, I'm glad I have what I have. Like, I wish I would have known. Problem is it's a catch-22.
Got to get there to realize.
You can't have both. It's one or the other. On the chase, it's one or the other. You know, when the wolf's chasing the rabbit, it's got to be focused on the fucking rabbit. It can't be thinking, oh, I'm just going to leisurely get it. It's focused on one thing and one thing only until it gets what it wants.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're void of it. And then you're sitting back going, money doesn't matter to me. Like, I want to spend time with my family and friends and build relationships. And I don't need to chase that because that's not what I desire. Yeah. But for people like us, it's obviously what we desire. So I think it's a crock of shit that people post that because, bro, a year ago, you were sitting here posting videos of your fucking Rolex and your fucking Rolls going, oh, man, I'm glad I'm building this. I'm going to hit $1 million a month. I'm going to do this. And now perspective has changed. So
it's interesting. I mean, like we did 75 hard. I say we, Carlos and I, last year, beginning of the year.
I thought your biceps got bigger. I was wondering about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Haven't done much since. But we'll say like 75 hard, you got to work out 2 times a day, 45 minutes. And even though that it was hard to fit that in between, like my family definitely took a back burner. And my wife's like, you're never fucking doing that again. But you know, I will say that even though I was working out a lot, eating healthy, because you got to be on a diet too, I saw significant results in work too. It was like the most focused I've ever been at work. Maybe it's like that time element too, right? Like constriction of being like, oh, I got to fit these things in so I can finish this program. I got to be super productive so I can get my work done and move on to, 75 hard. So it's interesting. I mean, but that's like a chase too. Like I was chasing like the goal of finishing 75 hard. And
you're giving something up, guys. Like life, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So if I go home, listen, let's be honest. I love talking to you guys, but I'm doing this to build my brand. You guys are doing it to build your brand, get information out there, add content, all that stuff. If I go home at 12 o'clock, which I would love to go home and work out, I am giving up doing this. If after this show, I want to go to my gym and I want to work out, I'm going to give up training my sales team. So it's not that I can't do it, but it's eventually something's got to stop. So I choose this over working out. I chose training my sales team over working out. Something has to give until you have that luxury of building the team, right? Which is obviously where they're at. They've built and they've delegated enough. I'm lucky enough to now have a great team behind me where I have free time to do this. If y'all asked me to do this a year and a half ago, I would have said no. It would have taken up too much of my time. So time, perspective, luxuries, all those things give them perspective to be able to say, money doesn't matter. Focus on your family and don't work all the time.
Hey, well, one day we'll all get to that perspective level.
I hope not. I don't want to be.
You hope not? Is that what you said?
I give you guys permission to slap me or send me this. Give me the social slap and be like, hey, dude.
Remember
a year ago when you said this?
Oh man, it's true. I do enjoy working though. It's the chase is fun.
But did you guys see my post this week on my flip that I got going on?
I did not listen to all of it, but I did hear a segment of it, and I started laughing because I was like, I can't believe this is a problem.
I saw someone's post. A while ago, and I talked to you about it, where they were talking about when you get into flipping. For anybody who's going to start flipping, it's like get a mentor, learn how it is, because if you're going to take on $100,000 flip, like you're fucking crazy if you don't have a mentor. And I'm not $100,000 deep on this flip. I think we only spent like 55 on the rehab. But we've been holding this for a while, and it is starting to hurt because it's like, damn, I got all my money tied up in this. I want my money back. I have other projects I need to do. And we hit one snag with the lender. Then we got a new lender.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So no, this is now we got a new lender, and then we finally get the appraiser. The appraiser
Okay.
comes in $20K below the list price, right? And he puts a comment in there about how shitty the road condition is. Well, it's a privately owned road. And these are things as a flipper that you can't necessarily plan for. I knew it was a privately owned road, 100%. I thought it through, spoke to my mentors, talked about it. I've owned private roads before. I weighed the risk profile, all that crap. But guess what? It was like a slim effing chance that it was going to get mentioned. And all he had to do was not say it was in shitty condition. And it's not. He was just an angry fat old man. And that's the truth. Okay. I never met him, but I could tell by his voice he was an angry fat old man.
Portly.
Yeah, portly. Portly motherfucker. And anyway, and he wrote that in there. And so immediately it triggered in the underwriting process that we needed a maintenance road agreement.
Interesting.
The problem is that doesn't exist. There's no maintenance road agreement because of the liability to maintain that road. So man, I went into like fire mode. I was like putting out fires the other day. And I was on the phone. I called realtors who sold houses on that street. I got a hold of other owners on that street. I had Parker go down. He's knocking on doors, trying to get a hold of people about access easements and maintenance road agreements so we could sell this because we're supposed to be closing. This is like 6 figures going into our bank account. And without that money, it's not like my business is over. But listen, it slows me down. Like cash flow is king here.
For sure.
And we're trying to get this done. And it turns out the guy who owns the road is I talked to the one seller. He said he was trying to sell it for $5,000 and
the road
for $5,000. But the problem is whoever owns the road takes on the liability of that road. So he's like, I was going to buy it. Cause I was like, hey man, what if I buy it for $5,000 and then I just give it to the county? He goes, I already tried that. When I was going to buy it from, I called the county and they said they didn't want it. They're so broke. The county is like over budget. They can't afford another road to maintain because it's going to cost them damn near $1 million to pave the length of this road. It's like a long road. The problem is, so what do? So we ended up strong arming the lender and letting him know like, hey, this isn't going to work. And then came up with another solution. So the buyer's got to take responsibility in a document to the lender stating that they understand that if something breaks access to their property, they agree that they will carry the cost to clear that issue. Not that they have to pave it or do anything, but if a tree falls over, it's going to be their issue to clear it. And they can't go look to anybody else. And that's what the lender wanted to underwrite this deal. It's like a 200. I mean, now we're at 270, but we were higher. But so they're thinking $270K loan. I want to make sure whoever owns this can access this property. Otherwise, they might default. So they needed that to feel comfortable. So we're still waiting on an answer. But I mean, it's things that you can't account for.
Yeah.
That could throw out your cash flow or your budget or your timing on things. Because this was supposed to close back in March. And I ain't closing it till May now. So if I was just a new flipper and I needed that money, either my family wouldn't be eating. I'd have to lay off employees if I was relying on that. And what do you do? And a lot of people run into those issues, you know? So, I mean, I have another flip going on. That is a 6-figure flip. We're over 6 figures into the rehab because we're doing everything on it. And that's a long process. So not every flip that you see is like a 30-day done
turnaround. Yeah.
What's the turnaround for the 100K rehabs that you do?
What do you mean when you say turnaround?
Like how long does it take to when you start day one rehabbing? When is it ready to be listed?
Thanks for asking that question on live TV. Listen, I will say my turn time was a lot better pre-supply chain crunch and labor crunch. We've had this going on for over 6 months right now. So, and we've done we've had every single trade from concrete all the way through plumbing, electrical. I mean, drywall. We've ripped this thing down to the studs in most of the house. It was the animal house. It was the one where the animals were shitting inside the house. We had pigs living in there. Gerbils. I got chased by a rabbit. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me get chased by a rabbit.
I wish I saw that. I didn't mean to ask anything.
I didn't know if that rabbit was gonna fucking bite me, and I didn't know if it was a rabid rabbit.
Like Monty Python and the Holy Grail coming to bite you. No, I didn't mean to ask anything too close to the vest there. What's coming up in thought for me is like, if it's anybody that's just doing a rehab heavy strategy right now, I was trying to get just a rough estimate from you on like what a full gut rehab would take, because what everybody is talking about is like where the market is at. So it's like wholesaling is a lot, like for me, wholesaling has always been a lot less risk in theory. Those are the only deals I've put together are wholesale deals, but rehab, just not knowing if it is an extensive rehab and stuff happens that's out of your control, that's going to delay you actually being able to list the house once it's fully renovated. Who knows where the market could be, or holding costs or something like that, is pretty much like the point that I was thinking.
You can
of.
do
It was coming up
$1,000
ahead.
a day. I know guys who run that number. $1,000 a day for every dollar of your budget is how long it should take you.
Oh, okay.
A 30K rehab should be, I mean, you should be in and out in 4 weeks on that thing. Because you're, sorry, I was going to swear, but I realized I swear
No,
too much
hey.
on here. And like little children who want to learn real estate are like, oh, watch it. But you would say 30K, you'd be under in 4 weeks because you're doing a very simple interior. You're not bringing in all your trades. So what it comes down to is your trades. And that's the thing is, so we hit roadblocks to where our drywall team wasn't showing up. You know, we had carpenter issues because one carpenter got paid a better rate with somebody else, went there. The carpenter we were using, the guy that he was working for came back, bought a bunch of properties. So he needed to go back to him because he gives him more business than we give him. So we had labor issues. We had to wait like 8 weeks for vanities to come in. We were waiting. I mean, we had to return our window order, go to Home Depot and get different windows because some of our windows weren't coming in. Our doors took over 30 days to get for the interior.
Damn.
So like, and a lot of it comes down, and we're pretty good, or we're getting better at like our packages of materials of like planning. So that's really what it came down to, had not so much to do with the typical timing, but like, you got to think, how many trades do you need to get in? And so a beginner flipper may just have one crew, and that's good. If you have like one crew, you're using like a GC, you could probably get it done a lot faster, but we sub out a lot of our stuff that doesn't need permitting. Obviously I pull permits on the things that need to pull permits, but then I'll hire the roofing contractors, the AC, the electricians, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we hit issues. But Carlos, to what you're saying, imagine if you had, let's say I think I'm going to be at like 120 on this thing when I'm done. So let's just say, what is that, 4 months? And I'm over 6 months right now. So imagine if you thought you would have had all your money back by now, and you still are spending money.
Yeah. I'm
still spending. I mean, I have the majority of everything. It's just labor I'm spending on now. We have a warehouse we store stuff in, but it's like, would that 60 days break you?
Yeah.
Weren't you talking about some flipper that was calling you? Was that last week?
Oh yeah.
Where flip gone bad?
He had said the house caused him to get a divorce. So
Was it his first flip?
So it was funny because I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but it wasn't what he does. So, and I don't know why he'd be that stupid because he was a trucker or something. He was like a delivery guy when I talked to him. So anyway, he came through our lead pipeline. Long story short, he had this house mid-reno, and like he took it down to the studs, which is stupid, guys. Don't ever take something down to the studs unless you absolutely have to.
And you know what you're doing.
More issues than you could possibly imagine. Only take it down to the studs if you are prepared to encounter all those issues and go over budget. So he did that. And I don't think he needed to, but man, he closed doors and windows. He had to re-brick the outside. He was using a contractor. He said the contractor was just raking him over the coals. He went through his rehab money on his one loan, and he was applying for another loan to try to finish this rehab. And he was nowhere near done. He had like professional plans drawn up, like pulling permits and everything. And it was random because he doesn't even have drywall done. And he's got a couple vanities sitting there in boxes. Like, bro, why'd you buy your vanities already? Like, you're nowhere near the vanity stage and you got no idea what you're doing. So we ended up getting it under contract, and we were gonna wholesale the deal. And I partnered with somebody, and the irony was that the person I partnered with was the person who wholesaled it to the guy that sold it to this guy. So this guy had been dating.
Bro, that's like a
I know, right? And it was wild. I was like, the odds of it happening. So a wholesaler wholesaled the deal like 6 months ago to a guy. That guy bought it, wholetailed it to the next guy who bought it off market, who is the one that I was talking to. So 6 months ago, this guy bought it from a wholesaler who bought it from a wholesaler. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a tongue twister.
Right.
Anyway, and he was in too deep. We couldn't move it for him. I mean, he didn't want to take a loss, you know, and it was like, and he's going to have to take a loss or finish the project. But he said he's in a divorce, and he said the house has caused him to get a divorce because all of his money was siphoned into this house, and he is broke, and he is now trying to get another loan to carry this thing to finish line. God. And you feel bad for a flipper like that, but it's going to what I was saying. Like, so I've had mentors in flipping. I have a guy I call, he flips more than I do. But I also learned 10 years ago how to flip by following people. So I could take on a 6-figure flip. That guy, why would you take on a flip that requires a GC, plans, bricking? I've never even, we don't have brick here, but I've never bricked up things. I've stuccoed them, but you know, like, I don't know, man. I think it's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny. So I'm like preparing to market the show. So I'm going back and listening to our old episodes. Episode 1, we talk about like networking, and like how, when you have a question, what do you do? And so the kind of answers that we came up with is you call somebody in your network that's going to pick up your phone call and give you the answer. You purchase a course where you hope the answer is, or the one we don't, or no, and course/mastermind. And the other one was posted to a Facebook group. So I think it's kind of interesting to loop back to that in this kind of light of like the flipping experience with that guy, that poor guy who's like got this crappy house, and you having to deal with that road. Like you just knew who to call, and you've had the experience. Oh, and the other thing you said is when you came down from Pennsylvania into Florida, you had money and you gave it to somebody, and you were just in the car with them as they were flipping and like just learning. Yeah.
People call it partnering. I didn't call it. I just called it giving a guy my money. He was my friend, not a random stranger. Okay. But anyway, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's like, you don't need I call it the HGTV syndrome. It's like everyone these big flips, and guys, it's all fake. If you're in the business, it's fake. My wife's like a nurse, or she used to work at a hospital. So when she watched Grey's Anatomy, she's like, this is all fake. It's the same thing for any industry. I'm sure cops, when they're watching cop shows, is like, it's all fake, you know? And it's the same thing. And so, but because of that, they're like, oh, in order to flip, I need to rip all this out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you gotta have like a good demo for the TV show, right?
Yeah,
demo
day. I want to get the hammer and put a hole in the wall and like just fucking start hitting shit and prying it out. No, dude, save it. Like, you'll see on my posts, I'm saving cabinets. I'll save doors. I'll save as many doors as I can, then try to go match those doors if I can. Like ripping that shit out only costs, everything you do on demo is money you spend to rip it and money you spend to put it back.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I mean, I do know who to call. I'm not saying I solved the problem. I'm hoping to hear, you know, I also had another problem with another mobile that we couldn't get the serial number on, and we couldn't get the lender couldn't do it without the serial number. And I had to call a guy, you know, like you have to have the right people to call to solve certain problems, you know? I know a guy who's an expert in mobiles, and I was able to narrow it down. In fact, I was able to give him the initials of the model, and he knew the exact, and this was from the 90s. And I go, it's PEAC. He goes, oh. And he's like, that's what it is. I was like, oh, that's the manufacturer. Awesome. Peachtree. I was like, awesome, dude. Thanks, bro. You got to have those people in your corner, you know?
So start small when you're flipping. Save everybody's phone number. Build a Rolodex. And don't tear things
Partner
down.
with somebody.
Yeah.
Don't try to make all the money yourself. I think in one of our episodes I said it was like the mafia. Everyone's got to wet their beak a little.
Yeah.
Get a little taste. You know, you don't have to do the flip on your own. Partner with somebody. Give them your money. Obviously, get documentation. You know, don't just give them your money.
Get a contract, people.
No, like, so I work with people that I could just give them money and they give me money, and we don't have agreements. I mean, but I've worked with them for over 10 years.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I just think the big flips is overrated. I feel bad for that guy. I mean, we're seeing more and more of that in our leads. I don't know if you guys are from the Investor Fuse, if you talk to your clients, but like more and more people mid-flip selling their properties.
Are they all like inexperienced flippers? Like I watched HGTV for 3 years and saved up some money so I could do my first flip.
Yeah. Cash flow and experience are the two biggest things.
Mm.
They're not going to admit that though, but you could tell. Like I was talking to one lady, and she's like, "It's down to the struts."
The struts.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's down to the studs." She's, yeah, the studs. I was like,
Aren't struts the thing you put on top of a mobile home to keep them from flying away in a hurricane?
so like it's a lot of experience people buying, but guess what? As a wholesaler, I don't really care what your experience is. I just care if you have the money to buy this property. Realtors don't care either. They just want to know if you got the money to put this under contract. Will you take it down? Whether you succeed or not, that's up to you. It's you're an entrepreneur. You're a risk taker. But
Man,
it's a dirty game to do that, though, guys.
build up to it, just like you do everything in life. Didn't build software overnight.
Which I think is underrated. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, totally. People, I mean, to your point of like HGTV, right? You see, everybody sees the success stories that, took so long to get there, and they're just like, oh, that's easy to do. Let me jump right in. And they don't make good decisions, and they don't, take a path forward to learn the right way, which for me is experience.
And even if you learn, there's still more stuff you have to learn. So it's not like immediately once you learn, you could do everything in your wheelhouse. Like everything involves a different set of knowledge or tools that you have to learn.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, and then you learn for a little bit, and then you make a high-end coaching course, and then start posting on TikTok.
Why did you have to bring that up, bro? You know
that's all the way back to episode 1 as well. I just listened to us talking about this yesterday.
I thought it was so
It's unbelievable the amount of courses out there.
It is. I think Papa P, that's an interesting point or perspective going on right now. And I don't know what variables would potentially be leading to that, of flippers selling their deals mid-flip. And I wonder if that's something that, if a wholesaler or investor listening to this show, is something that they could, for lack of a better term, capitalize on or be aware of, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know how you would find them.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know how there's like a marketing besides like just being in your network. Like, I think there's a huge thing of, I don't know if you go to any like very local RIAs or potentially start your own, but I think there is a big power, which we've talked about on previous episodes. I'll cue to John if he wants to give a specific time slot or episode, but I think there definitely is something of being connected in your local market. Like, I know guys in Baltimore that would just be like, because that's where I grew up, that would just be like the go-to guy for something specific, or everybody would know him, and like you just get so much business, and like it's just, I don't know, it is a small, there's new people entering the market all the time, every day, every month, but it is relatively a small niche community. Like, everybody knows everybody. Like,
it is really.
All of us know people all over that are in this industry from all over, the country, essentially.
It's amazing, actually. Because social media has made that possible. But back in the day, I didn't know anybody outside my local town who flipped. Now I can talk to flippers from all over. Carlos, the only problem with that, man, is, if you take over someone's flip, you encounter all their problems. Maybe not their money problems, but you encounter, did they do it right? Did they have open permits? Like, the guy had open permits. So that means you have to jump into that permit work. And did the guy do the electric right? Did he do the plumbing right? You have to redo it, and you don't know. And the permit's open, you know what I mean? So you got to take that. You don't have a choice. So it could be a very intensive thing. I personally, like, I was doing that as a wholesaler, right? I would personally never take on somebody's flip if there was open permits and stuff. It's just, rules that I abide by. I don't want a home in the 1920s. I won't flip a home that's old. I won't. It's not that I can't. I've done it. I don't want to do it. I ended up doing it in the 1940s. I'd have ripped the entire back wall out and reframed that and the floor, new truss, everything. I don't want to do new joists. I don't want to rejoist the floor. That's not fun for me. It's a pain in the ass. So there's things I'll stay away from. And someone else's flip is one of the things I don't really care how nice it is. Don't care how big of a deal it is. Same with an old home. I don't care if there's a 100K spread. I am not doing that. I can make more money doing other things. My opportunity cost of capital.
You can sleep well at night.
Well, still trying to do that.
What's the expression? I don't flip where I eat. Is that the saying?
I don't shit where I eat.
Yeah. I don't flip someone else's flip.
Yeah, I don't flip I don't flip flips. Double flip.
Flips. Oh gosh.
But I think that's another tip, guys, is have some do's and don'ts.
I think that's a really like shiny object syndrome. Stay away from it by having a clear. And I've heard you say this for a long time. Like, I know exactly what I'm buying. I know exactly what I'm flipping. Everything else I'm going to wholesale, like regardless.
Simple as that.
I think that's a great thing to have.
We have rules of what we look for. Like, I get shop deals all the time, and I mean, sometimes I get tempted. I looked at one the other day because we need deals. We're short on deals right now to flip, and I was like, oh man, but it's wood frame. And I was like, I told myself I'm never going to do another wood frame property. And I kept going back to the email, trying to like talk myself in. I'm not doing it, but there was days where like this week where I'm like, should I buy this? Should I reach out to this guy? I'm like, no, not going to do it. You got to stick with your don'ts. You got to stick with whatever your code of ethics is for your business and what you say you're going to do and not do, and stick to it and don't change. Because when you do, that's when you run into some fucking problems.
Absolutely.
Without emotion, and I think good people, and I'm thinking of a car ride I had from Miami to Delray Beach with a very successful wholesaler investor is doing new builds now. He might be watching this actually if I post it on my story, but he was saying, I was asking him like what makes him successful, and it's almost this exact point Papa P is going through. He said he's very good at not having any emotion in kind of his code of ethics of what to get. He was specifically talking about crypto and NFTs because he got, I don't know how familiar you are with like new NFTs, but he got a really high end one for a small amount of money, and now it's 6-figure plus type gain on it. But he said he's very good at like automatically not having any emotions, and essentially his code of ethics or what he's looking to do, which Papa P is saying that he does for his business, for his buy box, and that's something everybody can do, and definitely something I can improve on. I'm sure everybody can improve on and get awareness on as well.
And not fall into pressure. I've had people, I mean, they're not with me anymore, but people in my office, like employees, when you say no to a deal and they don't understand why, because all they're thinking of is their commission. And it's really hard because they're not a business person and you're trying to explain. And I've learned my mistake of not explaining because I shouldn't have to explain. Knows, it's like my children. Knows a fucking no. Knows a fucking dude. I'm not buying that. Oh man, but there's like a 6-figure spread. Doesn't really matter. Like, look at this thing. I'm like, dude, like it's you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking nightmare. Part of it's like uneven structurally, but man, you can make and you're right. Like, to what Carlos said is I'm no emotional about it, but I'm not emotional about it. But at the same time, I can respect that there's somebody else out there that focuses on that one thing or whatever it is and will profit off that. It's not me giving up profit. It's not me giving up an opportunity. It's me staying focused on what it is my core mission and goal is. And that little project is not in my lane. And I'm staying in my fucking lane. I can respect that other people will make money on that deal. And you know what? You're welcome for passing that deal on to you.
Exactly. Thank me for saying no.
Yeah, exactly, man. I don't see why people are like that. It's not just real estate. I think it's any business. I think it's family too. I think you do that in your personal life too. I think we all get sidetracked with shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before with just like how do you learn like real estate and wholesaling? Like you see that course over there, or you see that mastermind over there, and you're not like, you haven't learned one thing, stuck to it, been consistent, chased it down, learned all the roles, and you're just like switching too fast.
I don't want to do everything, guys. I don't want, like, I see real estate people out there. Someone now is selling a stock trading course. And I'm like,
that used to be real estate investor?
Well, they still do real estate, but I'm like, what gives you...
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
What gives you the fucking right?
Tag her in the comments.
Like, go make money, dude, but like, why now are you... Because I get it. It's all part of the brand and the social media. If I could get you to pay $95 to join my community, I'll give you my tips and tricks. And listen, I'm sure there's all kinds of SEC violations that are happening there. But Why? Why do I want to do that? And everyone's like, you gotta. So, God, we're going off tangent, but people say you need 7 streams of income. That's wrong. That's
Oh
wrong.
gosh, 7 streams of income? Who says that?
Well, to be millionaires have 7 streams of income. Let me repeat that sentence. Millionaires have 7 streams of income.
That makes sense at that point.
Have 7 streams of income. Have currently as a millionaire. They did not do 7 different things
Get
to
to
become
be
a
a
fucking
millionaire.
millionaire.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, you gotta have 7 different streams. And if you look at all their streams, they're all generally related or in some type of wheelhouse that coexist with each other. But let's be honest, poor people, people on the chase, not poor, negative poor, but on the chase, we're watching social media and we're saying, I got to do 7 different things. Okay, wholesale. I'm going to trade stocks. I'm going to do options. I'm going to do Forex. I'm going to do crypto. I'm going to do NFTs. I'm going to get a rental too. And it's like,
Drive Uber.
Yeah, I'm going to drive Uber.
I'm gonna drive Uber while day trading.
Day trading. And I see it all the time on some of the people I follow. And it's like, and respect to them, man. Like, I focus on what I focus on, and that's that. And I'm not, again, you're not saying that you can't make money in stocks or options.
Right.
Or Forex. You just, dude, like, and how on the come up are you doing all that? And where's your focus at? How are you truly getting the benefit of wholesaling, flipping, holding rentals, doing options and stocks and crypto? And how are you really capitalizing on all of that potentialness that's within those categories? How's one man doing that? Obviously, he has the best nootropic stack out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. And
You must be stacking the motivation one.
But I think people misunderstand the 7 streams of income. 7 streams. Once you become a millionaire, you need to diversify your portfolio into 7 different things to provide you that cash flow, that passive income, that stuff that's still building your wealth. You need to have enough little soldiers to spread those soldiers out. Otherwise, if in military reference, if you have a small army and you spread them out, you just get fucking annihilated because you don't have enough in either spot to defend anything.
Yep.
So it's like,
we should get you a hat that says "Make active income cool again."
That's fun.
Because I feel like
Active income.
that's almost like the paradigm, I guess, is like, because people see like TikToks and stuff like that. And it's funny, like I've mentioned it a few times, like a lot of my civilian friends or civilian people that I know are learning about wholesaling through TikTok. Like they're like, oh, that's like when you sign the contract. So like TikTok is like huge for people finding out about wholesaling, but it's definitely glamorized to have 7 streams of income. But that's easy it's easier or a better idea to do when you're a millionaire and you just have a ton of liquidity and you can just put it into 7 different things that make returns. But I think we should get Papa P a shirt or a hat that says "Make passive" or "Make active income cool again," like what your main thing is.
yeah, like do your main thing now. You should like me and my family, like we don't have money. Like, I'm always broke because every time we get money, we take that money and put our active income, like because we pay ourselves payroll, like other than our bills, every dime we have goes into something that generates something. So whether it's crypto, obviously, this is not a crypto show, but whether it's crypto or whether it's real estate, that money goes back to work.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I use my active income to go do something. I mean, maybe it's not generating passive income. Maybe it's just Bitcoin and it's just sitting there and it's just generating a shit ton of wealth as it grows. And that's another stream. There you go. So boom, I now have my income in something else. And but I focus on what I focus on is my wholesaling and my flipping. That's my active income. Because wholesaling is very active. It's not passive.
I like that idea of like taking it all and putting it to work. Putting it to work, I should say, not worth.
Yeah. We don't do anything. I mean, I don't have a lavish lifestyle. You guys notice I wear the same outfit. I mean, what do I give a shit? Yeah. I'd rather stack all my money. And that's the thing though, right? Is you start doing that and you focus on one thing. Like
one thing.
And then you move it to something else. You do one thing, you master that, and you're like, okay, that's 2.
Yeah, and I think that's to the point you're doing 2 right now. Sort of with like crypto and stuff, but you didn't do that until how long you been in real estate? 10, 15? 12.
Next year will be I'm going on 12, 13. Yeah.
See? So like I'm 7 years into software and So like, kind of half that. But you didn't add on crypto NFTs, which to the point like it's only been around for what,
No, in
4
full
years.
disclosure, though, when I was really making money, like my 20s, when I was young and I had a lot of excess capital, so I was doing the same thing. But at that time, crypto wasn't. I'm old. Bitcoin was around. Okay, it was. I just wasn't in it.
Yeah.
It was real. I was buying rental properties, and I was buying stocks. And then in 2000, whatever, I sold all my stocks and moved it into like my real estate business. And now I'm into crypto because the returns are 10 times better than what I would ever make on a stock. And I believe in the decentralized nature of it. But anyway, and that's the thing. So it's not just now. So I just didn't want it to be like because I'm in it 12 years. I mean, I did it when I was in it 4 years. But again, I was taking my active income and I was putting it into something else. So I had 2 other streams. Now I have multiple businesses, right, which act as streams of income. But everything I generate from that still goes into something else. I never spend it. I don't want to spend. Unless it's on my cool mic that's been taunting you guys here. For everyone, we have a mic contest. Carlos just got his new mic, and I have had my mic, and he's trying to copy me. John tried to copy my mic.
I've had this mic way longer than you've had yours. Oh, no.
Pretty sure mine is bigger, though.
It's not. It's the same exact mic. What's funny is you sound really good when you go into the back corner. Where is your mic pointed at the TV though? At the monitor? It's gonna be pointed at you.
Pointed right here.
There you go. See, that sounds good.
Hello. Anyway.
So speaking of putting your money elsewhere, something's happened in the recent history of the world. A certain man came forward with a big deal, and a social media company. The social media company is going to be owned by Elon Musk. So I'll start with my thought. I mean, see it in passing, and so I haven't read much into it. And I thought it was interesting. But my immediate thought process when I heard how much he was going to put up for it was, how's he going to make his money back? Or even a significant return based off of the historical past of Twitter and how much money it has made. And it's interesting to think about Elon and what he has done, PayPal to Tesla and SpaceX. Obviously all those things have grown. So I'm like, what's he gonna do with Twitter? What is it that interests him enough? Or is it literally just I want it to stay free, and so I'm going to purchase it so it stays free, and turn it into my platform? Thoughts? Has anybody gone back to Twitter yet? Has anybody logged back in?
But I actually made a new account. My name was still there. Same Instagram handle that I have on there.
Since he purchased, or since the deal was announced,
shortly after he purchased, I made a Twitter account. I haven't been on there, so the only person I follow is the mayor of Miami, big crypto guy. Nice. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I think it's a big. I don't know, man. He just seems like the real life Iron Man to me, and he's very forward thinking in potential problems. He's 5, 10, 20 years forward thinking of everybody else. Earth isn't going to be sustainable for the population that we have, so he needs to start exploring other planets, which is amazing. He's seeing the issue with potential lack of free speech that's going on, or people being blocked on Twitter. And I didn't even know of all these Twitter bots where there's fake accounts that are pretty much artificial intelligence that'll just argue and spam and troll people. That was a good clip I saw on Joe Rogan. So apparently that's a big initiative. He's cleaning all those up. But I don't know, man. I'm a huge Elon Musk guy. I could definitely learn more about him. I want to watch more. I started the SpaceX documentary. I'm probably 20, 30 minutes into that, which I know Papa P watched with the fam. I don't know. That just fires me. Yeah, mandatory watching. Yeah, I don't know, man. It fires me up. It's big thinking. It's good to just see that type of stuff on a some type of rhythm to it, just to expand your mind to bigger thinking stuff.
That is true. Expand your mind to bigger thinking.
Has anybody thought for a moment that the only people who care about this are everybody but Elon?
Mm.
That's interesting.
Okay. My theory. So my wife always says when I get bored, I start stuff like I just pick fights, I start dramatics, I just start bitching and moaning about things that I don't need to, and I'm looking for a fight to pick, verbally anyway. But you know what I mean? And I was thinking like this is 18, like roughly probably like 18-20% of like his overall wealth, right? $44 billion.
Mm-hmm. You think he's just bored? Has nothing to do?
What else is he fucking doing with that?
SpaceX is running fine.
Everything is running. So
Tesla's
everything he's ever done, he has taken that money and poured it into something else. Taken the money, poured it into something else. Elon, like I was watching this thing with Grant Cardone, and I was really thinking about it. Grant was saying how like Elon, he just thinks money's a fucking joke. He thinks at this point it's so easy to make. Like once you're at certain thresholds, money becomes exponentially easier to make, right? Like make your first 100K, then to your first million. Once you make a million, 100Ks are easy, and so on. He's got like, I'm rounding, I don't know the exact amount, $250 billion in net worth, not liquid cash, but net worth. Yeah. He owns no assets. He's sold everything. There was a point where he was couch surfing on friends' homes, couches.
Sleeping in the office.
What if he just,
on the production line?
$44 million to him is nothing. It's the equivalent of if you have $100,000 net worth, it is the equivalent of you spending like 18 grand. Huh. Really puts it into perspective for
Say that again for everybody that just like.
So let's just hypothetically, I don't know his exact net worth. Let's just say it's 44 billion is 18% of his roughly net worth, right? So if you have 100 grand sitting in your retirement or whatever you got, your retirement account, and you go spend $18,000, that is the equivalent of what Elon just did.
That's really interesting when you put it in that perspective.
What does it matter? Money becomes irrelevant. It's so relevant depending, right? Like, and to him, it's irrelevant amount of money. He still has $200 billion when he's done. And of course, like I was trying to explain to someone, he doesn't have this money. This is not like him just sitting on cash that he's doing. He's got to go and sell stocks like it's his net worth, or he's getting a loan of some I don't know how he's structuring the deal, but I'm sure some investment, something. Either way. What does it matter to him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he gets to do something cool, which he's always done.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start Tesla. He kind of, some people say he stole Tesla, right? Like SpaceX wasn't his idea per se. Like all these things, neither was the solar. It wasn't his idea. He just finds something. He's like, I got a shit ton of money. That's phenomenal. Let's do it. A shit ton of money. And then he's the great, next to, pardon me for saying this, next to Donald Trump, he is the greatest promoter of all time. I'm not saying whether, I'm not trying to get into politics, who likes him, who doesn't, but you got to admit that name, Trump's name in the 80s and 90s was synonymous with wealth and success. Mm-hmm. Buffett was there for a while. But if you said Trump to anybody at any age, people knew of the man or of his building or his brand, or you just thought gold.
Yeah, it's true.
With Elon Musk, he creates this enigma, Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And now he's got this. And crypto kids love him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he really believes in crypto. He's the self-appointed crypto god. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you bring an interesting point of who connects to Elon. It is intriguing the demographics that he breaches. I think people like us, our age range, admire what he's done, see his success, enjoy his antics at times, and then the younger audience I think is enamored with him to a degree. It's kind of interesting.
Well, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Elon Musk is, now he's going to tip Twitter tips, and that's possible. Like I could see, I don't know why he's picked Dogecoin out of them all, but Twitter is now going to tip. But how is he going to make his money back? Does it even matter if he does? Because again, it's still $44 billion. It doesn't make him, so contrary to popular belief, spending $44 million does not make him billion dollars, does not make him $44 billion poorer. He is still worth as much money, if not more, depending on the future valuation of Twitter.
Right.
He is playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to keep getting richer.
Love it.
This is not.
God bless him.
Right?
Bless him.
Yeah,
We'll probably
fuck
find
that,
out he's
dude.
we'll probably find out he's an alien at some point, and then that'll open up the extraterrestrial.
The reason he's so much against AI is because he is AI.
And that's why he's trying to go
Anybody
back to space. He's trying to go back to his home country, right?
yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know, man. Like, I think it's cool. I don't know what he's going to do with it. I don't know how. I don't know what. I don't understand it because it's never made money. I think that's only made money for 2 quarters in his entire existence.
Correct.
And he's talking away, taking ads. Maybe there's some type of synergistic play he's doing. I don't fucking know. Maybe again, he just doesn't give a shit because
Right.
even if he fails, he's still worth $200 billion.
Yeah.
And it's private. He took it private, so no one can say shit to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
God
public
bless him.
company anymore. He doesn't have to answer to anybody except
Love that
the
guy.
U.S. government. And he thinks the government is a joke and the SEC is a joke. He literally taunts the SEC with the shit that he does. And he doesn't
Yeah.
give a shit because he's so intelligent. He rides that line and taunts them like a child taunting a parent. Like, oh, you told me not to touch it. You don't. I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I'm not touching you.
And you just wanna
I'm
smack
not
him because
touching
he
you.
I'm not touching you. And that's what he's doing. And when I listened to Grant, I was listening. It was Grant Cardone being interviewed by Lewis Howes, right? And when he started talking about that, it kind of clicked. And I was like, he's just like, I feel like it's all a joke to him.
Mhm.
This is. Grant's like, money's a joke to him. And even to Grant, like when you get to that wealth, money is a joke. It's like they so good at making it. Grant's like, I can't even spend this money if I want.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I make more money than I can possibly find a way to spend.
Yeah.
And he's not nearly as rich as Elon. So what the fuck is Elon going to do with this money?
On a
interesting.
future episode, we'll discuss that
Yeah.
on future episodes.
Tune back in for episode 200 and we'll loop back.
No.
Fun stuff.
The
in the
Twitter,
world.
Carlos. Hop on it, bro. You got to follow your crypto accounts on there, dude.
I know.
I use
I'll
it
get
as a
on
news feed.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, guys. I liked it.
I love it. No, this is good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Another week in the books. Well, the week is not done yet. I'm going to get back to work. Got some dev stories to write up. Some resurfacing to deal with. So let's get to it.
Getting that
Love it.
data going. Let's do it, guys.
Let's
This
do
Friday, Finger Gun Friday, shooting shit down today.
Pew pew.
All right, guys.
See you
Lock and
guys.
load.
See you
Lock
guys.
and load.